So the ones who are responsible for controlling the narrative of these events believe words and names are meaningful and sacred. They will often incorporate a specific name or word multiple times into the narrative. The ones who are in on it will know why these names are significant. However, the ones who are not will think it's merely coincidental due to the commonality of the name. There are several people in the case who share the name Lee: Christopher Lee Watts, Nico Lee Watts, Shanann's unborn son, Ronnie Lee Watts, Chris's father, Nicole Lee Kessinger, Chris's mistress, Dwayne Lee Kessinger, Nicole Kessinger's father, and CBI agent Tammy Lee. The ones just mentioned are the most obvious, but there are other ways they incorporate the names into the narrative. Trent Bolt's mother's name is Colleen, so instead of the name being solely by itself, the name is used inside of another name or word. Then there is forensic scientist Kay Lee Henson. I have already shown you 2 different tactics they use, but they also use the name as a suffix or a portion of the word so it will sound the same, but it will be spelled differently. For example, Sergeant Brent Mann Lee, Field Evidence Tech Steve Wally, Deputy Coroner Jolene, Officer Lorraine Fratelli Lee. Chris's court hearings were in Greeley, Colorado, and Chris flew into Raleigh, North Carolina. Nick and Amanda Thayer's daughter's name is Amelie.
Right. But yeah, so you're going through, all these pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny because, if I didn't know, if I just saw this for the first time, I might think they're your kids.
Yeah, I mean, they did look a lot like Amelie. The blonde hair and just beautiful.
And yes, the name Lee is common. However, let's take a closer look at the name itself. Lee is a given name derived from the English surname Lee. There are also several different spelling variants, such as Lee spelled L-I and Lee spelled L-I-E. Now, although you pronounce it Lee, it is also spelled like the American word lie. Remember this because it will be important later. You will usually find occult symbolism throughout these events, so it's not surprising that Lee is one of the 13 Illuminati family bloodlines. The more you look into these things, they start to become a lot less coincidental. Besides Lee, there is another name connection. There are several people who share the name Nicole or Nicholas. Nicole Lee Kessinger, Nico Lee Watts. If you add Nico plus Lee together, it makes Nicole. Nicole Atkinson, Shanann's friend and fellow thriver. Nicholas Atkinson, Nicole Atkinson's son. Nicholas or Nick Thayer, friend of Chris and Shanann. Nicole Kennedy, Chris's cousin's wife. Amanda Nicole McMahon, the woman who claimed to have hooked up with Chris after meeting him online. Let's again take a closer look at the name. Nicholas is a male given name derived from the name Nicholas and is originated from the meaning stone or rock. Keep this in mind as it will be important in a future video. Nicholas is a common Greek name that means victor of people. The connotation is people's champion or conqueror of the people. And that's essentially what they are doing with the psychological part of this case. They are attempting to conquer the people through control, and the best way to control people is with fear. They are trying to demonize the white middle-class male. If someone like Chris Watts, who appeared to be a loving husband and great father and showed no previous signs of violent tendencies, can kill his entire family, then what's stopping someone else's significant other from doing the same thing to them? They want people to always be in fear and think that the only ones they can trust is law enforcement and the government. The ones in control of the narrative will often use codes, subliminal messages, and leave breadcrumbs for us to find as well. I mentioned earlier the different variants of Lee and how Lee is also spelled L-I-E and also known as the English word lie. During his interview, Agent Graham Coder asked Chris what the girls were wearing that morning. Chris tells Coder that the girls were both wearing nightgowns. Cece's was pink and had birds on it, and Bella's had a unicorn, or believe, on it. If you look at the center of the word believe, you will find the word lie. Did you remember that Nick and Amanda Thayer's daughter's name is Amalie? Spelled Amalie. Once again, we see the word lie. They also like to use anagrams, which I have talked a little bit about in my previous videos. The Watts lived with the Dietz in Broomfield, Colorado, while their house in Frederick, Colorado was being built. As you can see, the child's name on the wall is Eli. Eli is also an anagram for the word lie. So they are literally throwing it in our faces and telling us that this whole thing is one big lie. The name Lee is a variant of the word lie. Nicole, Nico, and Nicholas all mean to conquer the people. They're trying to control us. Believe, belie, and Eli. Lie. That's why it's so important to do your own research and think for yourself, because everything is not always what it appears to be.